Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another video for Fear the Walking Dead. I realized that we haven't yet done a character spotlight video for the most important or the biggest character in Fear the Walking Dead so far, which is for Madison Clark. And possible spoiler warning if you guys are not caught up for Fear the Walking Dead, which is up to the mid-season finale for Fear the Walking Dead Season 4. So in this one, I decided we should do a character spotlight video on Madison. I think we've waited long enough now since the the mid-season finale there, and the big character death with Madison being killed off in that mid-season finale. So what we'll do for this video is we'll try not to turn it into just a bitch fest, right? Which has been pretty common lately with Fear the Walking Dead. I was happy to see that in the most recent video where we discussed Fear the Walking Dead and whether or not we should consider Fear the Walking Dead to be a successful companion series or a successful spin-off or a total failure. Most of the comments I saw, not all of them, some people did say, yeah, we think it's basically a full failure for Fear the Walking Dead. But a lot of comments said no. They said that I think Fear the Walking Dead has been a success. I've enjoyed it, pretty much all the way through. Yes, they've revamped the show and taken a turn in a different direction this season, but it was kind of needed, and that original group in Fear did have quite a bit of time, and it makes sense that not everybody would survive. So I was happy to hear that people are mainly looking at Fear right now as a success, and they don't really want to give up on Fear or say that Fear is totally just useless or anything like this. They have enjoyed the series of Fear, and they are excited for the future of Fear. So I'm happy to see that level of optimism from you guys, and that you guys are feeling that way about Fear. I know it's been a huge kind of revamp of the series this first half of Season 4, but some people are more excited about Fear right now than they ever were before in the first 3 seasons. So for those people, great, awesome, and I hope you'll continue to enjoy it going forward. So for Madison as a character, now this one is really hard to do a character spotlight on the character because she's so different. I feel like Nick, if you look at Nick and doing a character spotlight for him, he's basically consistent pretty much throughout the series. I mean, he does get quite a bit better as time goes on, like in Season 4 and in Season, there's part in Season 3 where he kind of goes into junkie mode a little bit, right? He's just trying to get a fix. But, maybe he gets a little bit better as time goes on in the zombie apocalypse. He gains a love interest after the first one there at the beginning, and he has a pretty good story arc as things go through. Madison is more difficult to try to understand, I think, because she's so different throughout the series. I mean, if you look at Season 3 and the things she does there, they're so inconsistent with the Madison in the first half of Season 4, it's not even funny. In Season 3 and prior seasons, she's a character that I'd say is very, maybe not conniving, maybe that's not the right word because that has some evil, hints to it or things that, I don't want to say that she's an evil character, but what I want to say is that she's very intelligent, right? Socratically and everything that she does, the things she says to people, the way they kind of join the group at the farm and then they kind of join with the other group, but they're still with this group, and the way things go through. This is a very different Madison in Season 3 where she's delivering heads and bags to people versus Season 4 where she kind of comes across as the mother that just want to protect her kids, which she is, which to a degree Rick in The Walking Dead is a father trying to protect Carl as well. But in Season 4 for Fear the Walking Dead, I feel like this Madison, at least the way I view her, is a lot different from the prior Madison in Season 3 that seemed to be very intelligent, that seemed to be a couple steps ahead of the opponent, and kind of figuring out in Season 3, for example, that the people at the ranch cannot take the Walker's group or Taka's group. So instead, she sort of subvert. What was the word I'm looking for here? Instead of joining up with the group that she ran into first and just basically going to the death, she instead kind of works her way up in the ranch community, kind of takes the lead out, and then allows the other group to join with them and kind of take over. So it's quite a bit different in terms of what we see her do in Season 3, her motivations, her thought processes, the way she handles situations, versus Season 4's first half, where she seems like a simpleton that basically just wants her kids to and just leave us alone. Our kids and everything will be fine. Whatever, I want that for them, and that's what it is. And doesn't seem to be willing to fight so much as she was earlier on in these prior seasons. It kind of makes her look like I would say the first 3 season Madison is a different character than the season 4 Madison, pretty much entirely. And if you've watched the series through, if you've seen my videos over the years, if you've seen my reviews, the choices she makes, season 3, she's killing people with a hammer. She's beating people to death with a hammer. In season 4, she just wants to be left alone and wants everybody to just leave them alone. And the vultures are going to come there, and they're going to park there, and she's fine with it. And she's not going to try to take them out, or she's not going to, do some of the things that she had done prior. So I really feel like there is a disjoint, and this is one of the things that bothers me the most about Fear. Right now, anyway, and I won't turn this into a bitch fest like I said earlier, but the season 4 Madison, pretty much to me, and even the kids as well too, even the way that Nick behaves and the way Alicia behaves when they just freeze in the car, these characters almost behave entirely differently than they did in season 3 and prior. They almost seem like they're an entirely different set of characters from earlier, and that disjoining with it not feeling natural for Madison, for me anyway, as a viewer, really hurts the character as a whole, because it kind of feels like I don't really know which one this one is. Like the first 3 season Madison, thought she was an amazing character, thought she was great, really a force to be reckoned with, somebody that you don't want to mess with, somebody that you really have to be careful, not sure if you can trust them, somebody that is really just a very fearsome leader and a very fearsome mother in the zombie apocalypse here, trying to do whatever she has to do. In season 2 as well too, with Celia and some of the other things that she did. Us finding out that she had actually killed before the zombie apocalypse even started. This character is clearly different from the season 4 Madison, right? If you ask me. Now you could say, and the showrunners have kind of tried to explain it away to try to say that, well, in season 4, she kind of, it's all about hope, and she just wants the group to survive, and she just wants her kids to have a normal life, and so they're having that, and she's not willing to go back into battle mode at all to defend her kids or do whatever. And there's a time skip, so she's different at this stage. It's like okay, I get it, I get that. But she was like that. She was pretty vicious even before the zombie apocalypse even started, and that distinction, is something that I don't think you can override just by saying that, well, there's some time and some things happened. She found her kids again, and so they just wanted to live life there and didn't want to go out on their own again, this kind of thing. That seems to me to be an entirely different character than we saw in the first 3 years. So I can't reconcile that in this character spotlight and try to say that they're basically the same or that it makes sense. It doesn't. It doesn't make sense. So I'm sorry about that one. But the first 3 season character of Madison, by the time we see her at the end of season 3, she is quite a badass character. She is formidable. She is strong. She is smart. Very smart, and just not somebody that you probably would want to mess with in the zombie apocalypse. Maybe not somebody who's physically, well, even then I can't even say that, because the hammer kill was pretty nuts. Hammer time, right? So even physically pretty strong, but a different type of leader than what we saw in the original Walking Dead with Rick. I enjoyed the character in the series. I enjoyed seeing the character in the series. I don't know if she was the right choice to lead the whole show because of how vastly different season 4 ended up being and how they treated the character as the lead of the series in season 4 and what they've done kind of with her in the 4th season, of course. But it was a cool, different kind of character to see. It was sort of an opposite to Rick in the way where you have, instead of a strong male lead, you have a strong female lead, which is not very common. And unfortunately, in this series, I think we saw that it didn't really work as well as you probably would have wanted it to. You wouldn't want to see a Rick ripoff in Fear the Walking Dead to lead that series. So I thought it was cool that they had a different type of leader in Fear the Walking Dead. After Travis was killed, we sort of found out pretty quickly that, okay, Madison is actually number 1 on the call sheet. She's actually the overall lead for Fear the Walking Dead, which was a bit surprising. But after a little while, the episodes kept going on, and I thought I wouldn't enjoy it after Travis was killed off, and I really did. I really enjoyed season 3 a lot, even after that happened, and was kind of wowed, actually, by how much I liked it after, Travis had been killed. So I'm going to miss seeing the character in the series, but if they can't, do the character justice in the same way as they did in season 3 and prior, then maybe it's best to kill her off, because kind of the season 4 version of Madison is much too far too much of a pacifist for me to really like that character. I really view them as two separate characters. At this point after the mid-season finale. But it was one of my favorite characters from Fear. Initially Travis was my favorite. After that you have Nick, Alicia, and Madison. Madison in season 3, she kind of upped herself to the point where season 4 started. After Travis, she was pretty much my favorite. Her, and then Nick was cool too, and Alicia there as well. Great characters as well. And going forward, we'll have to see how long her daughter can survive in the zombie apocalypse and how formidable Alicia can become. And I think that's the last holdout right there. Strand is okay, he's cool, whatever. Luciana, all right, fine. But I feel like the last holdout for those first 3 seasons and those characters is Alicia in Fear the Walking Dead. So hopefully she'll become, she'll have some of these qualities we saw from Madison the first few years and can become a formidable, very formidable survivor to deal with as well too. That's kind of the hope right now for Fear, I think, and the thing I want to see most. So just don't kill Alicia off, because really she's kind of the last of the Clark family, the last of those original characters in the series. So let's just hope they don't do that. But right now I'm not entirely convinced that they won't anyway. So yeah. That said, I know not everybody likes Madison in, Fear the Walking Dead. A lot of people did hate the character. She kind of plays that sort of motherly role. She's kind of like your mom in a zombie apocalypse, unhinged, right? That kind of thing. At least that's the way I kind of viewed it as. So it's fun in kind of a motherly character type of way, which is kind of cool because we haven't really had that before. We have Carol in the original Walking Dead who says she's kind of like the mother of the group, which is funny. So there's that in that way. But Madison had even more time in Fear, so I kind of felt even more like that way with regards to how I view the character, at least myself. So leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys thought about Madison and Fear the Walking Dead. Are you still sad, some of you, that she was killed off? Or are you saying the other way and you're like, no, this is awesome, they killed her off, because I didn't like seeing her at all. So leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys think. We'll do just a few questions for today's video, and then, of course, tomorrow I'll probably have another one for you guys. Yeah, so we've got t-shirts in the store. If you guys haven't seen it, I hung one up there, Trev 2 t-shirts. And here's the Tregan one. So link will be in the description for that. Intriguing we trust, right? So that's fun. So Intriguing we trust, and it's going to be pointing at you, right? So that's fun. So check that out. Link will be in the description to the Trev 2 t-shirt store. So check it out. Tim F says, hey Trev, rumor has it the new showrunners were never fans of Madison character and were planning her death way before filming even started. What are your thoughts on this? There was a lot of people, maybe not just them. If that's true, Tim, there was a lot of people that never liked Madison in Fear the Walking Dead. And I'm sure you can see the comments and see you guys who didn't like her. Leave a comment below. Let me know why. Write a comment why for us. Tim can see as well, too, how you guys are feeling about her. But yeah, the other showrunners, they didn't like her at all. And yeah, so that's... so yeah, if you don't like a character whatsoever and you think it's not good for the series to have her around, then okay, you're going to kill her off. Yeah, it's like, it makes sense. If you don't like the character yourself, then how are you going to write them in the zombie pie? How are you going to carry them on forward when you yourself are not even a fan of that character? So it's what it is. And the last one will be from William Wilson, who says, total failure. Should have just made the group into the Whisperers. Yeah, that's true, man. I mean, with how it turned out anyway, Frank Delane wanted to leave. So Nick wanted to leave. So you wouldn't have been able to do it with him anyway, one way or another, because he was leaving. So it's what it is. He was going to be killed off either way. But it's hard to argue that the way the initial Fear group turned out is better than just having them turn into the Whispers. Like, if they would have turned them into the Whispers, that would have been even better than I think because they just killed them all, right? That's what it is, right? They killed pretty much everybody. So if you would have had the initial Fear group maybe split off or something, and then had Alicia and Madison maybe somehow, join or become part of the Whispers, and then do what they did at the ranch and kind of quickly move up in the ranks and her become alpha and everything, that would have been so much cooler than what they did do. It's mind-blowing, right? That would have been so much better than how it actually went. It's not even funny. So anybody who doesn't like that fan theory or didn't entertain it, it's like, I would argue that what they ended up doing with just kind of killing them off in sort of a pacifistic way, it's probably not a word, is probably worse than if you would have had them be the Whispers and done that route with them. I think that would have made the first 3 seasons of Fear more meaningful. It would have integrated the series better together. And even if, for example, Madison becomes a villain in the original Walking Dead and she crosses that way in, and then somehow you basically have that happen, and then afterwards you kill her off in season 9 or 10 or something, I think that would have been even better than what they ended up actually doing in Fear. But that's just me. I think the Whispers idea would have turned out better than what they did do. Yeah, so but leave a comment if you guys agree. That'll be it for today's video, guys. If you liked it, please don't forget to thumb it up below. Share, favorite, and I'll see you guys again probably tomorrow or the next day. Leave your comments below for future Q&As upcoming this week. As always, it's Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon.